Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Aries, and this is for January 2021. So first out, I just want to say again, welcome to my channel. Big thank you to all my returning subscribers and to all those that are new to my channel. Happy New Year as well. We made it through 2021. Hopefully everybody's relatively unscathed and certainly more resilient, I'm sure, and ready to challenge 2021 with a new mindset and more resources. So quick note out, just a general read, can't possibly resonate for every Aries globally. You're all at different stages of the journey, but take what elements help you to move forward. And if this reading is not for you, check back into February. There may be more specific elements that can come through at that time that that would be of more resonating energy. So first out, I'm just going to mention the card that we're looking at here. The card is Key, which is new beginnings, directions, and adventures. A wait for those that are ready to let go of the past. So I'll just quickly also mention Aries. I do try different techniques with my readings. So generally my readings tend to be a little bit longer. So I will try to give you a bit of a synopsis at the beginning, but certainly things get fleshed out as we go along and more specific to the details of your path for the month of January. But I did feel for the majority of signs that there's a lot of new beginnings for most of you. So again, anything that's, kind of wrapping up a cycle means that you're ready to move on to a new beginning. So there is some kind of a life lesson or something that you have endured and you've come to some resolution over. So that may not be on all fronts, and certainly it might still have a residual energy and still be processing some other elements, but in the month of January you're definitely able to look a little further into the future here and move forward with more certainty, and you are able to release some of what's been holding you back here. Okay, so again, the card of the Key is all about those new beginnings, and again, appropriate for the new year for all of us. It's, again, releasing the past, viewing the future ahead. You're feeling more certain. I wouldn't say that you're necessarily feeling incredibly empowered at this time. There's a lot of healing energy that's still coming through with a lot of the cards that were pulled that follow. I do pre-pull, and then so I know what the cards are, but because my readings are a little bit longer, I'm just trying to find the shortest method for me to review them with you. But again, for some of you, this new beginning looks like possibilities that you hadn't seen before, which there was other cards that spoke to that as well, where there was adjacent possibility card that came through that indicated you were not seeing everything in its entirety to be able to move ahead and make a decision on. So in other words, there's something still that you need to work through, but I feel that the healing is creating a bit of a blockage, but you are going to work through it because there's an aha moment that that you do, that you do act on, that is opening some things up for you, I suspect, more toward the end of January. So again, those new possibilities look different for each of you, but it does speak to some where it's a release of the past. For others, you may have come to some resolution by accepting that you can't change someone or something. And I did feel for others, if you had to let go of a job, for example, you're actually able to come to the realization that, given the pandemic and many of other factors, that there was a lot of restraints around you to begin with, and this is really just a call for you to become much more resourceful once you get out of your head, because I do feel for January there is promise, but you're inching, just inching forward incrementally into this fresh new start in some way. So, where you once felt trapped in your own mind or in a dead-end relationship, or that you didn't have any options in work or employment or business, and certainly there is cards of loss that come up here. So some of you may have lost friendships or relationships, whether that was romantic or otherwise, but there is also new relationships on the horizon here too. But again, it's about being open to it. But for the most part, I do feel that a lot of this revolves around some kind of a compromised relationship, and again, or a loss of a passion project or something that you really felt invested in terms of employment or otherwise. But there is a doorway for the new that's starting here, and you should be able to move forward, and see the opportunities once you get a little bit out of your head here and you're starting to heal. I don't feel you're going to see those options until that takes place. So again, the choice is always there. The energy is there for this month for that to happen, but it's about it, you have to release your own blockages to be able to actually see or get the aha moment to be able to move forward. So it's, again, for some, it's the difference between, sitting next to somebody on the bus and just getting to your destination. And for others, you might be saying hello to someone on the bus, and realize that somebody else is hiring and you've got a new option, to move ahead or move forward in another direction. So again, it's about seeing potential and being open to it. But again, for most of you, I feel that it's going to be in the coming months, but for the a good portion of you, the healing will take place over the course of the month, and the end of the month is likely where you're going to start to see some breakthroughs. So in terms of career, this card indicates a stagnancy or a boredom of some sort. So again, for some of you that are employed, I feel that you want a change of some sort. Maybe there's too much overwork because of the, again, pandemic. Some employment may be a little more demanding, and you're just feeling like you're just done. For others that are not working at this time, again, there's opportunities, but you're going to have to see it once you've healed. So there's some kind of a blockage in the way here. But if you choose to move in that direction, the options are there. So again, those that are putting out the resumes for the opportunity, it's around the corner for you. You're going to hear something back this month, or there's going to be some action that you can take. That's going to be positive for you. And again, if the action that you took was that you put the resume out and then you get the call February 1st, something along that line, but it is something that you're doing in this month that is going to open up for you, as I say, early February or at the end of January. So the World card is the next card. And again, that's also in a lot of ways revolving around that same message, just that there is a need for you to be open to new possibilities this month. And again, each deck has some different connotations around the meaning of the world. I know with Rider-Waite deck is a little bit different than it is with some of the Oracle cards. So just be aware of that. But this card looks like there is a number of areas that you're ready to outgrow, is how it interprets things. So it's more that you've finished up with a lot of things in terms of the way that you're thinking, or the way that you're doing something, or the way that you're dealing with an issue, and you're really ready to go off in a new direction here. So this card usually appears after some difficulty or hardships, but it is about broadening your scope, putting more effort into living your life more fully. So again, this card can also indicate a need for that inclination to network, more of a really strong inclination to network. And again, that can be internet communication or otherwise. For some, it can suggest travel. Again, it could be just plans around wanting to travel or thinking more about it. But we'll see how the other cards support this as we go along. So the next card out is, and I should also just quickly mention too, with the World card, with that World card, for some, this can indicate people that are living also at a distance from you that you're in touch with. So if we're talking about personal relationships, that may be also where the internet communications, phone calls, texting, anything that's electronic, that's supporting those connections is coming through. But definitely really strong networking energy this month, socially or in business. So I don't feel like you're in full hermit mode without contact. So, and that card can also speak to philanthropy as well. Some of you may be helping others at this time, less fortunate, struggling to maintain, anything like that. Just putting more energy into, getting out of your head, and maybe that is in support of uplifting someone else's spirits, and maybe it's just a reciprocated energy on that basis as well. Because there was energy around someone coming in to aid you in some way, whether it was as a teacher or instructor or confidant or something, but it felt more along the lines of instructional, career-minded, but it's somehow supportive to you in whatever it is that you need right now. For January, another person that's coming through. So again, that is also in terms of finance or emotional support, all of those things can be coming through with this card. It can even speak to animals playing a role in personal happiness. So maybe you've been given a pet, or you're giving a pet to someone, that's, or you're feeling especially close or connected to your pet that's helping to bring you happiness and aiding you in some way in your overall well-being. Last thing out, just in terms of finance, this card is definitely speaking to opportunity. So it is opportunistic. It indicates an excellent time for gains. But again, most of the energy around January I felt for you was more cerebral, more air energy, more along the lines of, nothing concrete and practical yet coming in, more along the lines of something that is gaining momentum that will bring, future gains. But there was some kind of an accumulation of things. So I didn't feel it was more cash coming in or things on that level. It felt more like an accumulation of items of value. So, again, also with this card, anything around branching out with a work situation, again, maybe that's with a travel, a short distance travel or something along business, operating in that capacity, was also part of the energy. So there's more of a feel of, as I said, accumulating something, whether that's property or something tangible, but it didn't feel like actual cash. It felt like maybe it's acquiring art, or maybe it's acquiring something, somebody's giving you something, or something along that line, but or you're purchasing it for yourself, but it didn't feel like it was like a cash payout, even though the card in itself can indicate some kind of inheritance or good financial moves. For sure could also be referenced here, but for most I feel it's acquiring items of value versus large payouts to you. Okay, anyway, moving on past that, we're into the Fountain Tarot deck, and that's by Jonathan Sayes and Jason Gruel, Andy Tadero. So that starts off with the King of Wands, which is an Aries energy, likely you coming through here representing also passionate, inspiring person, motivational leader, someone who believes in themselves and is strongly action-oriented. So again, this can be you coming through in your own reading as well, taking back your power, more toward the end of the month, but it can also speak to moving ahead with the same energy. So believing in yourself and using your confident spirit to take this time to expand in many new directions. I don't think it's one area here that we're dealing with, but predominantly something around your heart is the issue. There's so many cards that really speak to that. So followed with the Four of Swords, and of course this one came out in reverse. I don't take all cards in reverse because I feel that there is sometimes it's just a cluster of cards that are a little heavier energy, which really brings out the same motivation as a reverse card. But with this card, it can speak to stress and a lot of activity. But I feel that the rest is coming through because there's rest and rejuvenation cards, and I feel that you still feel like there's a lot on your plate, more in the head, not necessarily in the practical sense. I feel you're just overloaded emotionally. So it's, that eustress versus distress. So eustress being a positive stress, a positive form of stress that motivates you in the short term, and it helps you to focus your energy and improve your performance, versus the distress energy. I don't feel that's where it's at. I feel that you're going to be able to be more productive in where your energy and focus is going to be. But it's just a trickle of it into the month of January because you're still healing. So again, that eustress is more of a positive, energizing, exciting kind of energy. So again, I don't feel you're starting out the month that way, but it's moving toward that as time goes on. So we are followed by the Three of Wands. Again, this is a card of focused effort in this deck, and it seems very well placed next to the Four of Swords now in the grand scheme of things, because it's a real push toward what you want. It's very intensely focused energy. There's a real dedication and commitment that comes through for the month of January to develop your goals. And I feel that a lot of you have strong business acumen. And for those that are in business, it's very acute at this time. So your common sense and your choices are really on target. The next card out is the Knight of Swords, and of course that is an action card. So the Knight of Swords, action-oriented, someone who goes forward in a practical way with a lot of passionate, impulsive, solution-oriented movement. I feel like you're not wasting time getting things organized this month. Sometimes this can be a little reckless, this energy of this card, but just so long as you're acting from a place of a grounded, logical, rational place, you should be okay here. So but I should just quickly mention, that card does operate with a lot of inner wisdom, and I do feel, as I said, epiphanies are coming in. And certainly the reason why I say that is because the next card out is the High Priestess, and this is really someone, it can represent a person, someone who's a little more mysterious, but it can also be somebody who's not really communicating an awful lot about their feelings or what it is that they want to discuss in terms of a relationship. It is very closely followed by the Tower card. So this, to me, that combination is really about that epiphany. So I do feel with that Tower following the High Priestess that it's some kind of internal struggle that you're questioning, something within, self-doubt, or, you know, as I say, I feel like it's more, if the thing is I don't feel that you're in a completely weakened place. I feel you're in an energy of trying to overanalyze maybe something, overanalyze a relationship, and that is causing a little bit of stagnation, or a little bit of, I don't want to say doubting that you'll ever have another relationship again. I don't feel it's quite like that. I feel it's more that, for some of you anyway, for some of you, that it's more along the lines of just circular thinking. I still feel like you have a pretty grounded sense of who you are, but you are feeling the loss. But again, it's sort of an aha moment. It's some kind of epiphany that's coming through here with the Tower and the High Priestess, and not a lot of communication on your part or someone else's part. So followed by the Two of Wands. Again, at some point here in the month of January, you're finding a way to move on from this energy. So you're making some kind of a decision. So something or whatever that was that caused you some emotional imbalance in January looks as though it was pretty unsettling, you know, at some point here, because it did cause you a Five of Swords, and these are all clustered together. So I feel like it's one part of the month that really is weighing heavy on you, with the Five of Swords. So really feeling like things were just not very, you didn't feel, you felt things were beyond your control anyway at some point here. So next card out is the Queen of Cups. This to me looks as though there's some kind of victory that's coming through, emotionally. You know, I mean, for sure, there, again, with the Five of Swords and some of the other cards there, it does feel like there can be something that was maybe humiliating, or some sense of loss for others. And it could even speak to alienation, or some kind of sacrifice, or something that came at an expense anyway, that you were dealing with. And maybe this is a residual from December, or, you know, January. It's impacted you regardless. But I feel that it did require some strategy and some cunning on your part, which spoiled any good feeling out of it. So however that relates to your personal circumstances, there was, as I say, something in the month of January that caused you some kind of anguish. Maybe it even affected your reputation, or again, you had to sacrifice or compromise something, with the decision that you had to come to here, as it falls with that cluster of cards. But as I said, it led to the Fountain card, which was the card of feeling centered, grounded, and whole, after the Queen of Cups here. So, you know, whatever emotional state, I feel like you're coming out of it, and you still have some sense of yourself. You're still fairly grounded, and coming from a good place. But I feel that is coming from a point where you're actually relinquishing control. So you're not trying to stay in control. I feel it's once you relinquish control over whatever that issue was, or that decision, or that difficult thing that you had to face, your enlightenment came in some kind of way that allowed that internal struggle to be, maybe you were so overwhelmed that you just let it go. But either way, there is definitely energy all throughout these cards that indicate you're moving forward, and especially in a positive way. So positive movement forward card. This is the Psychic Tarot deck by John Holland. It looks like things are, as I say, back on track. You're starting to show a little more movement in a positive way. I don't feel like this is leaps and bounds kind of energy for you. Aries in January, it feels like it's more slow, incremental. You're starting to pick up the ball. You're starting to use your knowledge, your skills, your talents, and you're kind of graduating out of this harder period. So it's a real creative energy, with this card as well. And certainly, you know, I just feel some of you are really taking the initiative to use creative pursuits, that creative spark, and find opportunities. And for some of you, it may be you going in as an apprentice in some form, maybe a new job where you're starting out a little lower in the totem pole just to kind of advance forward eventually. But again, I still felt like some kind of a teacher or somebody was coming through to help you, assist you, instruct you. You're being aided in some way. So again, maybe that's for a new position. that you've undertaken, and you're just being guided through the process. But this card is especially relevant for those in artistic fields, design, music, education. Again, anything really, writing, all of that, passion project oriented sort of scope. But what I would say as well, that this is a time for real investment in yourself to move forward. And I feel that you're moving forward by using those passion projects or that creative energy to get you out of this. You're really focusing on it. So we do have the card of emotional loss. And as I said, something you were definitely attached to. Again, maybe it was a passion project that was given to somebody else, or you've lost a job, or you've lost some kind of business that you really had a lot of yourself invested in, or maybe something that you had a lot of identification in terms of a relationship, how you defined yourself. But there's something that you have to let go of here that you were emotionally attached to from the past. So this will likely be more of a progression over the coming months, but the release starts in January. And again, I feel that you're starting to become more loving to yourself. You're experiencing less suffering, that was associated with that loss. And certainly with every challenge, you're challenged in the areas that you need to be stronger in. And the reason why is because you need to let go of something from the past to be able to advance forward to a higher level. If you just let something, I shouldn't say let go. If you didn't let something go and come to some kind of resolution or acceptance of it, you're just going to repeat the pattern. So, but I don't feel that that's where you are. I feel you're actually letting it go. You're letting go of the control of whatever it is that you're emotionally attached to, and there's more progression because of that. But again, for you, it's incremental. And again, I felt that there was more you loving yourself more. You're experiencing less suffering that was associated with that loss. And again, every challenge, there's wisdom that's gained. Not everyone allows themselves to look inward long enough to make peace with their pain. But that's not how I feel it is for you. I feel your incremental steps, you're accepting the loss, whatever area that was for you. And with the moving on card, again, that speaks to they're all working in line with one another, these energies. So it is, again, about you moving past the problem. You're moving past the difficulty because you're relinquishing control. You're not trying to over control it. And that might have been something you were doing in the past. But there is that healing energy alongside this card. And the conclusion is that you're starting over in a lot of ways. There's a new beginning. You've learned some kind of a lesson here, and you've made some peace with it. You've accepted it on some level. You've realized that you can't control every aspect of it. You can only control yourself, and all external factors are not elements that you have any real strong influence over. So it's more about you doing you. You're finding ways to make yourself happy or be more positively engaged with projects or people. So the moving on card, again, same energy of moving past the difficult cycle. It's really light at the end of the tunnel here. You had the positive moving forward card, and it can also speak to trips that involve water. So again, for those of you that resonates with the travel aspect, the trip is likely around water. But metaphorically, it's moving toward calmer waters, and you're much stronger than you were before. So you may not be wholly positive or energized just yet, but you are making progress in this month, and you're going to feel that, over time, you'll be just less worried, and you'll see how things are lining up for you in the coming months and how they will benefit you. So the things that are happening in January are important because they're integral kind of connections and with yourself as well as with others that you're making in doing the healing. And again, by artistically expressing yourself, that's helping to accelerate the healing. So that will be very important for you to be able to move on. So the card of disruption, again, that's another tower moment. Again, just different deck, but a lot of repeat cards here. So the disruption card, again, I do still feel in the month of January that there was, at some point, you're still energetically attached to that relationship, that partnership, or whatever it was you were closely bonded to, because it was clarified with the Lover's card. So again, for a lot of you, I feel it's partnership or passion project or something around a definite connection with somebody else. That tower moment occurred. And we also have the Princess of Cups, and we also have the Queen of Cups. And I clarified it further because they all fell out in a clump with the King of Wands. So again, that's you coming through in the reading. You're represented as the Aries and the King of Wands. And the Princess of Cups and the Queen of Cups to me involve a person that is, I mean, it can be, I feel, one person sort of entwined together. I don't feel that there's, several. I mean, it could be, I suppose, three energies in this reading, but with both the Queen of Cups, somebody who's maybe a little more mature, the Princess of Cups, somebody who's younger, but definitely a lot of emotional energy here is represented in these cards, and certainly with the King of Wands, I feel that would be your energy here. So. But normally, I mean, the Queen of Wands would also be represented as somebody, again, could be a little bit older, a little more mature, nurturing, reliable, thoughtful kind of person. And the Princess of Cups still speaks to a lot of those attributes, just a little more, but a lot of intuition coming through with these cards as well. So again, however that resonates for you, I mean, if it was a third party, I didn't really see anything come up in terms of... well, other than the Three of Wands, but no Three of Swords, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm still inclined to think that this is really about your intuition aiding you at this time with getting past whatever difficulties that could be a Pisces that you're dealing with as well, but, anything Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, energy, doesn't have to be, but anyway, but that's just, as I say, just general energy there. So as clarifiers. So again, I don't feel that, I do feel that you're strongly using more intuition for this month, and definitely coming through and expressing yourself in more creative ways, whether that's being more resourceful with your creativity and figuring out how to resolve something, difficulties that you're facing, or if you're just actually doing the work to be more creative, to heal and focus yourself. So whatever area it is that you're addressing, and again, a lot of creative energy still coming through, and again, that's writing music, whatever it is for you. But overall, I just feel that you're looking after you. You're looking after your own needs at this time. So the overtone again for this month is more about healing. It's more of a passive energy. It's not really a strong time of external action and practical things being manifested. The sacral chakra is also a card supporting creativity, spark around your imagination, and you're getting kind of downloads about how to move forward, and it's all about desire and passion projects and more emotional energy again, still going out here. But to balance out that energy, this card also is indicating that you need to be a little more physically active, because if you're too much in your head, that creates an imbalance. If you're too physically oriented to the detriment of emotional, again, that creates imbalance. So try to do something more physical, again, to get you out of your head as well, but also because it creates more of a balance in your energy, and that will draw better things to you. So throat chakra, again, that's, there's communication, there's creative energy around that, about using your voice in some way to be heard. So whether that's actually vocally communicating it or expressing yourself through painting, singing, writing, again, whatever it is for you that's creative. But again, it's still a card around inspiration coming through, but it's about communicating it out forward. So we also have authority. So again, some of you may be the actual leader generally, or some of you might be dealing with people in authority this month. But it can speak to embodying these attributes, as I said, taking more responsibility this month, being logical, finding solutions to problems, just remaining more emotionally neutral. So, but fours are still about balance, and you're still trying to regain that. As I said, there's a lot of cards of 2, 4, 6s and that kind of thing. So a lot of cards of balance coming through. We also have Healer of the Ages. So this one is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, and this is a powerful healing month, as I mentioned. And it's just about angels coming through. The Spirit Divine is reaching out to help unblock your energy and renew you at some very deep level. And that's why you're getting these epiphanies, these moments of that will help you to resolve the issue at a very core level, not on a superficial level, but at a really core level, so that you can use this and draw it as part of your strength and moving forward for whatever it is that you're leveling up to. But you're really doing some soul searching this month, again, with the rest and rejuvenation. So a lot of making you more of a priority is really what I would say. But lots of repeated messages here. And certainly, again, you've got the broken heart. So, I mean, this is a 9, so it's still an action-oriented card. So again, it's really just before the beginning and end of something. So because you're, as a 10, you're ready to start with a new beginning. You've already, in that process of learning the lesson here, still with the 9, but it's still, you're moving past it. So that message is around your broken heart, something that you felt you identified with, whether it was work or a career, or a job of some sort, or a person in your life, or a passion project that didn't go the way that you had hoped. But either way, whatever you strongly identified with, you're releasing those past hurts and you're resolving that void, and you're accepting it at some level. And there's a lot of love and light to bring into the world, so to speak, with that card. Like, it's really about, you're healing yourself so that you can heal the world, because whatever energy and understanding that you bring into your world, you're actually going to be able to convey to somebody else. So a lot of people that have gone through a lot of pain oftentimes have a greater ability to heal people on a larger scale than they know. They may feel weakened, by those states, but in actual fact, it's really it's a call to heal or be a healer. So anyway, strong cards for healing this month and self-care. So as I mentioned before, we also have the Adjacent Possibilities card, and I did clarify that. But the Adjacent Possibilities card references, again, something that you're not considering, something you're not quite seeing yet. And again, maybe it'll manifest toward the end of January or beginning of February. But it is clarified with the Ten of Pentacles. So whatever this possibility is that you're not recognizing, you're not seeing something that is based around your Ten of Pentacles, which is based around your happiness, because it was clarified with that card. So it definitely, whatever that is for you, whether it's regarding your foundation, your finance, your family, your business, whatever that Ten of Pentacles is for you that makes you happy, you're not seeing it in its entirety. Because the adjacent possibility means you're not exploring some new territory. You're not exploring something that is likely right in front of you, or just in your head that you're somehow blocking. The next card out is the Chariot, and the Chariot is also, it tends to be a card of victory, but in this, or a Cancer energy coming through as well, but it's in this particular combination of cards, I feel it's more about new territory that you're not exploring. Again, something you haven't considered, something that once you see it will empower you in getting what you want. And it might be that there is a short-term goal that you have not moved on, which will bring you to the larger scale goal. But either way, I feel that you're coming through as determined with this energy. So there is going to be some movement over time. You're just still at a period of indecision. So, maybe it's a marketing tool or something that you haven't considered. Maybe it's a person you haven't spoken to, or like some other connection, something you just, as I said, haven't tapped into yet. We also have the door to romance. And again, so much energy around, passion project or some person of some sort, or some deep relationship, deep bond. So again, there's a new beginning in love for some, and for others it speaks to, not a new relationship, but moving up a level in a relationship. So you're seeing more potential maybe at some point here in some area of your life. But there's something else that you could be doing, as I said, that will open up to make you feel more empowered. But whether that's in business or a passion project, either way, it's something that you're very invested in. So for others, again, it could be self-healing that's still being done here as well, starting to love yourself again, that kind of thing. The thinking woman's about a new friend, as I mentioned, someone coming in to aid you, to assist you. So maybe this is a new love, or somebody who you're coming in as a friend with, but may actually be more of a new love opening up down the road. But whoever this is, it's somebody that is providing you with some kind of higher wisdom. For For others of you, it might be just that you're more intuitive at this time and you're getting, some strong downloads. But I feel for a lot of you, it's an actual person or teacher or somebody who's coming through to help you out, to move you forward. So the card and this connection, I feel in a lot of ways is just helping you to understand yourself and your feelings better, whatever that connection is of that person that's coming through. So we also have attachment. And again, I felt that a lot of you were same energy, needing to let go of an attachment to something, breaking free from that difficult energy, emotional patterns, whatever that way of thinking was that you had, circular thoughts, anything that binds you up in some way and puts you in a place of pattern and no growth. So again, the only way through is to accept what had happened, take whatever lessons you can, know that, we're all here to learn and grow. I mean, it's really, truly the game of life. And so you can't change the things around you, without changing yourself. And so if you don't change things around you, you get the same players, you get the same action, you get the same lessons. Once you're able to internalize the lesson, then you move to a new level, brings new energy, different type of people around you, and you're more in line with the things that will help you to expand and grow, and that moves you into a different place. So we also have the card of appreciation. This is a card that is you pausing to slow down, reflect. So again, didn't feel like you're in real hermit mode because there was a lot of energy around you still communicating. But I just feel that, it's a card to remind you of what you're grateful for and to remind yourself what your foundation is so that you can move ahead to that next level of growth, and not to be so preoccupied by getting caught up in, things that are beyond your control, as I mentioned, with, the hopes that you think that you can control all the outer elements, but unable to move ahead with the things that that you can control, again, yourself. You don't want to outthink yourself, I guess is maybe the way what I'm trying to say. If you outthink yourself and try to look for an answer for everything, you're going to remain stuck. So if you look at the things that you have around you that support you so that you can move ahead, you actually realize you actually have all the tools that you need to just keep going forward, as long as you don't hang on and drag through the same energy. You have to let some of the energy you're outgrowing dissipate. It has to be released so that you can take on new energy. So again, that comes from accepting things, that you contributed to whatever you needed to, and now you have to move beyond that and create new resources, new connections. Again, whatever that situation is for you, you have so much more control when you self-identify, when you realize that your power is from within and not external to you. So just putting out more focus on attaining some level of transformation. And that is what the victory card is all about. So I believe that the victory card for many of you in this month is, it may speak to accomplishing a goal, maybe in a material sense, but I really feel for the majority of you that this is really about accomplishing a level of resolution, healing, and you're moving to a level slowly that is allowing you to accept the situation as is and your part in it, and that you did all that you could, despite whatever events were going around you. So Angel of Strength is coming through to divinely protect you and also to encourage you to reach your own depths and access your inner strength. So this is where, you've developed this resource, whether you know it or not, in accepting pain. But it's not just accepting the pain. Again, you're allowing the pain to transform you so that you realize, everybody is on their own journey and reacts in the ways that they know best for a situation, because that's at their level of understanding. So now that you understand that, you can draw on that resources, that resource, that's inner strength to get control over your life, speak your truth, and in doing all those things, finding your voice and realizing what you believe in and getting back on track, you're creating momentum, and that helps you to focus and do whatever's necessary to move ahead toward those personal goals. So by month's end, as I said, I feel most of you will be much more intentional about where you're directing your energy, because there's a lot of determination, to get back on track in this reading. And I say that too because you've got, the Chariot, and you've also got the Action and the Angel of Strength. I mean, there's so many cards of determination to get out of that mindset and get right back on track. So the white horse is spirit action in this card. The black horse is about the outer work that still needs to be actioned in our practical world. So again, a lot of energy still in the mental realm. Not a lot of practical action done just yet, but you are persevering. So you will see that more of a breakthrough. You will see more of a breakthrough in the months as they unfold here for the course of the year. But this is really about, you're not taking your eye off the ball, and you are going to put in the work here. So you've got man holding a coin. This one again it's really about starting to make connections overall for your well-being. So you're moving in a more practical way. Again, I feel this is at the end of the month. You're still in the stage of healing yourself. You're seeing your value now, but you're getting support. I feel more in terms of advice for finances, in terms of actions, that you might need to take. You're getting that advice. You're getting some of those kinds of practical resources built up. So, but again, it's just starting toward the end of the month here. But again, a lot of repeat cards. Numerology cards by Michelle Buchanan. This is a card of perseverance. The message, of course, is to cultivate that mental resilience with whatever obstacles and challenges you're facing this month. Create a sense of inner calm, a stable mind, which will also help to translate the same into your world around you. So oftentimes our inner world mimics or mirrors the outer world, so you want to just be careful about what you ruminate over, negative thoughts, that kind of thing, because once you draw a conclusion, to accept what you can and cannot control, you want to then release the thought, accept that your strength is in stopping the need to overanalyze why something happened, and draw strength from how you can make changes that make you the priority at this time, because you want to build you up so that you're empowered to take the next step. So the next card is love. Love is seeing the world and yourself from a compassionate place, as you will attract what you are becoming. So you're recognizing any limiting thoughts or beliefs, things that were not feeding yourself healthy thoughts. So this is where you've got nurturing energy toward yourself. You're starting to talk. Your self-talk is better. It's improved. But you're starting to really give yourself what you weren't receiving, basically. So again, because there's a whole bunch of cards that all cluster together here with relationship change, I feel whether that relationship change was a friendship, a love relationship, either way, it's some kind of important dynamic that was in need of restructuring. So it couldn't have lasted. The foundation had to change. So again, it's a period of change. It's an adjustment. Something has ended. The old way has ended. For some of you, it could even be referencing a child that's leaving home, but you're very protected with whatever this, stage is that you're enduring, and going through to heal from. So the next card out is parenting. And some of you, again, I feel dealing with children or extended family, or dealing with someone who's very childlike, whatever that is for you. But, whatever you put into your child raises the vibration of the world, and it does have a massive impact on them. So always invest very strong positive energy to children. They are struggling in their own ways to find out and discover who they are, but who they are today is not generally going to be who they are in 10 years from now. Much of the same for ourselves. So what you see now is the struggle. If you're dealing with dealing with a child, you're still seeing the struggle for them to get to who they will eventually become. And that doesn't mean that the struggle is who they are. It's who they are at this moment. So allow for that growth period. But for some of you, it could be just that you're a great co-parent or a great parent. So the next card's out. This is actually a new deck that I have. I'm going to do an unboxing for some of these cards down the road here. This is the Wisdom of the House of Night cards by PC Cast and Colette Baron Reed. This is all about staying unique. Don't compare yourself, and of course, followed by that is the confidence card. So again, if there was a third party situation or something that you felt somebody trumped you, this confidence card is reminding you that you have been chosen to bring something unique to the world. And it's important not to linger in your obstacles. You're gifted with all that you need right now to go forward. So continue leveling up. Know that your decisions, regardless of the outcome, are bringing you closer to everything around your future goals. So again, the key is not to linger in indecision, and the pauses are for clarity. So listen and learn is what the next card is here, and that's about what is being said is as important as what is not being said. So listen to your connections at this time, or in looking at a relationship and that you're trying to heal from, remember what is said is different from what is not said. You want to be aware there are two separate things, and that might help you to come to some kind of a conclusion. So again, if you're not getting what you want from a connection, you need to learn to give this to yourself. So what you feed yourself at this time in the month of January, metaphorically, is what you're going to use as momentum to clear away the obstacles. You won't feel the fear when you are clearer on what you're bringing out of yourself. So the strength is found in the journey, as they say, and if you need to be stronger in that particular area to get you to the next level, then you got to take the challenge. It's whatever current resources you have, you're outgrowing, and you have to raise your platform, so to speak. So you got to find new resources, more connections. You have to keep shifting and shifting and shifting and alternate the methods to overcome whatever's holding you back at this time. So again, wherever you're holding yourself back needs to be strengthened and able to give you enough power and momentum to get through, to get to the next level, so that you can achieve your goals. Otherwise, it's just you holding yourself back, and taking a soft approach because whatever is more comfortable and familiar is what you want to avoid, because that's going to keep you in the same space, energy space, where you don't get a chance to move forward. You just keep reliving the same lessons. So for those, especially those that are moving into businesses or entrepreneurial sort of paths, this is a new deck for me. And again, I'll try to do unboxings here down the road. This is actually the Success Oracles. So this is by Katya Tilovich. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And illustrations by Barry Falls. So this talks about some strategies that you can use going forward. Steve Jobs is where I wanted to start. I got them all a little bit backwards here. So Steve Jobs is actually where I wanted to start, because for you, Aries, this is some of the advice I feel that these oracles are able to give. So Steve Jobs was known for his casual presentation, perfectionism. That was, but he was considered more of a visionary genius. So the card itself says outsized vision, handheld products, users can't be choosers, have a reputation for having a reputation. So what I feel is really coming through here is that you need to consider some of those qualities going forward with your own passions and build your reputation. So not only for your business acumen, but also, again, for those entrepreneurial, you want to be able to use your own strategic acumen toward advancement. So we also have Karl Marx, and this is Cut Class, Test Your Theory on Human Subjects, Be the Posthumous Life of Every Party. So for the most part, the energy I felt that you needed was to take some untraditional, non-conventional approach to something, persist with that, and focus on creating some kind of high level of productivity with it. So it might be a bit of a risk-taking idea, but you want to persist with this so that you can bring it to a level of high productivity. I feel this is where you need to strengthen yourself in business. And again, you can do smaller little test studies, with people to test to see where your strengths are by getting feedback from your market. And that would come in terms of commentary. Or I remember years and years ago, there was a store that had anyway, they brought in, it was tissues. I think it was the tissues where they started putting Vicks into the tissues, or moisture, something like that. And they actually had people trial them in the winter months, just in a little kiosk or something in the mall. And that was just, again, it's a small introductory way of testing the marketplace. So you want to be able to try to translate something along that same level so that you get more feedback, so that you can open up the space for your level of productivity to expand. So the last card out is Serena Williams, and she was known for really investing in herself and her charitable nature. So I feel these are attributes and messages coming through for you for January 2021. So a podium finish doesn't mean you're done. Sell a style that can't be bought. Be your own umpire. So that's what I've got for you, Aries, and I will be doing a separate video more specific to your finances very shortly. Stay tuned if that is of interest to you also. But until next video, otherwise, when I get into the February reading, stay safe, Aries, and keep moving forward.